This is Judge Gregory C. Pittman, Chairman of the Muskegon County Election Committee, with some important information. Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. If you have received an absentee ballot, I would urge you to return that ballot directly to the clerk's office in the city or township you live in as soon as possible. If you attempt to mail it at this late date, it may not be received in time to be counted. So return your absentee ballot in person as soon as possible. If you have requested an absentee ballot but have not received it yet, go today to your local clerk's office, request an absentee ballot, complete it on site, and turn it back to the clerk's office that day. You can take this action now through Monday, November 2nd, during the hours that the clerk's office is open. If all else fails, go to the polls Tuesday, November 3rd, and cast your vote. If you are in line before the polls close at 8 p.m., you must be allowed to cast your vote. Do not leave until you do so. If any concerns arise at the polls on Tuesday the 3rd, any question or issue with your voting status, request a provisional ballot and complete it on site. Do not leave until you have cast your vote. Remember, people, it is your right to cast your vote.
All right, family, there you go. He said it. The Honorable Judge Pittman. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm good. PA, how you doing, man?
I'm doing blacknificent, sir. Blacknificent.
Well, that's mighty dark of you, brother. Mighty dark.
Nice PSA you cut, man. You've been very passionate about this election. I mean, not saying you're not normally passionate, because you've been like that with Obama, but I see a little extra fire this year.
Well, I'm serious about being involved in electoral politics and selecting the people who serve us. But PA, brother, this is an election like no other that I've seen in my 40 some years of being a voting citizen. I'm dead serious, man. And, I have not bit my tongue, and I won't bite my tongue about the idea that this administration at the presidential level must be voted out of office. Must be. Has to be.
Wow. I never heard you speak like that.
It has to happen, man. It has to happen. I mean, this is so serious, and you know it.
Right. Right.
And everybody out there knows it's just a matter of taking it seriously enough to follow through. But
right.
Our country is being led down a path by a person who is completely bereft of character and who is completely incapable, unqualified, and uninterested in the really, really hard work of being the leader of this country and by extension of the free world.
Right. Pastor Guy. Hello there, Pastor Guy. Greetings, sir. And he said he agreed. There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. They got a big food giveaway going at Corinthians too this Saturday. They feed enough food for 2,400 families.
Phenomenal.
You talking about taking care of the hood? That's taking care of the hood right there.
Phenomenal. That's what we're supposed to be about, man. And I appreciate Pastor Guy. That's not a one-time kind of process for him and his parishioners. They work hard at trying to provide for the community, man. And
right.
Brother puts his mouth where his puts his money where his mouth is.
Judge, so where are we at right now? You've been the president of the election committee here in Muskegon County. How the turnout's looking so far?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. People are, the numbers are going to wind up being just off the charts. And what the safeguard has to be now is to take the steps that can hopefully ensure that all of that participation doesn't get suppressed. Okay. with all the actions that are being taken by this administration to depress and suppress the vote. I've never seen it. Have you ever seen anything like that for real? I mean, I know, political strategy says that if I can stop your vote from coming out and increase my vote, I'm going to win. I get that. But I have never seen this level of trickeration involved in the idea of people not getting to vote. I mean, whatever they can think of to stop people's votes from being counted, they're trying to do.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen it like this, Judge, and it's sad that we were invade other countries to promote democracy in other countries.
Yes.
We use that as a reason for invading there, and here we are in America. We trying to stop democracy by saying if the ballots get there late, even though you mailed it on time, it's not going to be counted.
We used to send, and probably still do, send election observers to other countries.
Still do.
Because they felt like we need the assistance of people who do it right and who respect the process to come and try to help us to conduct a democratic election in the appropriate way. The way things are operating right here, right now, man, those folks are getting ready to send folks over here to help us.
Yeah. Right. United Nations going to come here and help us out.
Yes. We are the ones behaving like a third world banana republic.
Mm-hmm.
For what those terms actually mean. We're not looking like the citadel of democracy. We are looking like, this is what a camp, the way people react when they are trying to be autocrats, and under the impression of looking like a democratic process, but really just attempting to ensure and safeguard their own election and those that they favor.
Right. So let's talk about this COVID-19 impact here in Muskegon County. There's been an increase. Any changes in the court systems?
Yeah, there are things going on. I'm not at liberty right now to discuss some of what is happening yet, but the most consequential change is the courts have been required, because based upon guidelines, based upon public health guidelines that have been established at the beginning of the COVID outbreak back in March, we have been in what is called the third of 4 phases. We have a 4-phase process. And I want people to really appreciate that the court systems are operating under different orders than virtually everybody else. Our orders come by virtue of the Michigan Supreme Court, with the authorization, of course, of the legislature and the governor's office. So we don't quite follow exactly the same guidelines that everybody else does. Okay. And our process called for us to establish what's called a 4-phase, 4 levels, 4 phases of operation. And the first phase was obviously completely closed down. Second phase was primary closure, no public access to our courts, our court buildings, and operating court hearings and procedures remotely. And that included as many employees as is feasible and possible to not be present physically on site. Phase 3 is where we have been since probably about early May, and that has resulted in the reopening of the courthouse, in-person contact and proceedings, basically kind of operating just about like we were before, but still encouraged to do as much remote as possible. Because of the surge in COVID activity in this county, and we are each county has to observe these phases on its own. and operate based on what those phases are. So it's not every court system across the state. It's county by county. In our county, we have hit a period where we have seen a spike, an upsurge over a 14-day period that has taken us to the point of having to move back to phase 2. The reports that we're seeing from the public health departments indicate that over that 14-day period, and if we do hit a 14-day period at any point where we have the continual upsurge, we have to go back to the phase that we were in before. So I said all that to say, hopefully in a good explanation, that as of yesterday, as of Wednesday, the court is now closed again to the general public, and most of the processes, cases, procedures are either going to be done remotely or they're going to be adjourned and rescheduled. There will be virtually no trials happening, as far as certainly no jury trials, because of all the people that would entail having to be involved. Still trying to figure out how to conduct a jury trial virtually. Some counties have kind of piloted that, but man, that's a 4 aspirin headache that you're trying to put together. So our responsibility now, PA, is to operate our courts in such a way that the constitutional rights of litigants is recognized and safeguarded and protected as much as is safe to do.
Okay.
But some things just aren't going to be able to occur. And people are not going to be able to get back into the courthouse as a general proposition. There may be some very limited exceptions, and I mean very limited, but access to the courthouse is in person is now back to phase 2.
Yeah. We just got the email about the Court of Appeals struck down Attorney General's appeal in regards to her banning open carry inside of polling places. And they cited that there was already a law that prohibits intimidation at voting polls. I know you probably can't, because it's a Court of Appeal, so I know you probably can't say too much on that one, but I just want to put it out there. Yeah.
What does anybody need a gun at a polling place for? You know, here's the reality for all of us to have to appreciate, is that it's not a matter of the courts doing what we think makes common sense all the time. We are, often we are just constrained by what has been written and how to deal with what has been written and how we interpret that. And it doesn't always necessarily fit with what I think we all would consider to be a common sense idea or a common sense approach. And for the most part, that's the way it should be, because then you are allowing people to have too much discretion to substitute their personal judgment versus what might be intended, but unfortunately maybe turn out in a difficult way, but is based on what is a more objective law that's written. And I think this is one of those cases. I think this is the kind of situation where this court looks at it and says, there's already a law in the books that deals with what your concern is. Your concern is people showing up with weapons and people feeling like they are intimidated.
Right.
So supposedly there is a law already on the books that deals with what is considered this intimidation, and your remedies, your recourse has to be through that particular law versus creating another situation that is more broad than the circumstance that you are trying to address. That doesn't make a lot of us feel good when we have an idea about what makes common sense.
Right.
But there, it it follows some level of appreciation for how we have to kind of look at what's on the book, regardless of what its effect turns out to be.
Judge, were you aware of the story that came out last year on thehill.com that mentioned Muskegon County being one of the 10 counties that could decide the 2020 election? This came out a year ago, but I hope this is popping up on the screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, you see it. This is from last year, and it talked about how close this election is going to be, that Muskegon can impact Michigan, and that impacts the election.
Yeah, this is the kind of information that these campaigns have that is dictating why Donald Trump would come to Muskegon, of all places.
Yes.
Because it looks like this is the kind of place where you might be able to turn enough people to carry this county and offset maybe some of the losses of some of the places that you carried before. All he wants is to replicate that razor thin margin that gave him a victory in Michigan by what, 0.2%?
Yeah, it was close, very close.
0.2.
And he did good here in Muskegon County.
But he didn't win it.
He didn't win.
He didn't win.
About 1,200, 1,400 votes.
It was, I think, I don't know the vote total, but the percentages were, I think Hillary Clinton won Muskegon by something like 50.8%, something like that. That close.
Yeah. So it's a close one. I just want to share that so folks will know that how important however you vote, that Muskegon will have an impact on this outcome of this election.
Your votes count. And so that kind of segues. I know we don't have a whole bunch of time today because you're helping so many communities with getting good messages and the word out and help. Man, I just admire, I really admire the heart that you have to try to get to make this medium do more than just entertain. I really appreciate that.
We owe that to our people. We owe it to our ancestors.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Yes.
Exactly. We owe a lot of people. And, these are our Selma moments. These are our Edmund Pettus moments. Brave moments. We don't have to deal with a water hose and a rabid dog attacking us, but we do have a responsibility to continue to build on what the ancestors went through.
Exactly.
To this point. But that kind of dovetails into this, PA. And my wife is the one who, she's the political animal. She's the one who, really.
Yeah, she helped us produce the Attorney General show. I appreciate Kay.
But this idea of so this is the last time before we're on. So I'm talking to everybody. It's a message that can go to everybody, but I'm talking specifically to Black folks in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a Black person and you are still undecided about where you're going to cast your vote, I am asking you, what is it that keeps you so undecided?
Right. That's a good one.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, there are going to be some people who are going to co-opt this and say that I'm making the statement that if you're not already decided to vote for Biden, you ain't Black and all that kind of thing. That's not what I'm saying. And if you say that, you're a lie. Because I didn't say that, and that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is this: there are people, and probably people of all races, but I'm talking to my people. There are people who are sitting and saying, I'm undecided, and maybe their indecision is based on the idea that maybe I know who I'm not going to vote for, but I don't know who I am going to vote for. So my indecision is whether I will vote or not.
Mm-hmm.
To which I say to my people and to anybody, your lack of a vote is a vote. The problem is that you no longer control that vote. You've given that vote away. You've given the power and the effect of your vote away to chance, to circumstance, to whatever's going to happen.
Right. Right.
I cannot process and come to a logical understanding of people who say, for instance, I'm not voting for Donald Trump, but I don't know if I'm voting. I don't know if I'm going to vote. And what's the choice? It's not like there's 25 people. It's not like there's 3 people.
Right.
Who are there to choose from. It is a binary decision. Binary meaning 2 alternatives, either this guy or that guy.
Exactly.
And one of them is going to win. Your sitting on your vote takes away your control to determine who is going to win. Which means if you are saying you're not going to vote for someone, but you don't vote for the other person, then your vote works in favor of the person that you know that you weren't going to vote for.
Right.
You can't sit on the sideline. You know, in the last election, I think Hillary Clinton lost because there were what could be termed credible or at least not known third-party candidates that people could cast a protest vote for.
Right.
I don't want to vote. I don't like either one of the main candidates, so I'm going to vote for Jill Stein, or I'm going to vote for the
Johnson,
Libertarian Party person, or whoever. Which, you know, pull votes away from one or the other. But in this election, have you heard the name of anybody in a third
you know what? I had to go to the website and see was the Green Party, were they gonna sit this one out? And they I think they got a sister on the ticket. I think they got a sister on the ticket. I'm not for sure. If not, she was running to be on the ticket, but they are quiet. they generally be out there, but they've been quiet.
PA, here's almost what I'm thinking. They're quiet because even they see that there's a need for a change in this administration.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things about our institutions and how we do business in this country that are just indecipherable at this point.
Right. I think this is Joe Rohn. I think it's Jay Rohn's brother Joe Rohn said, I'm not voting for Biden, but I'm voting against Trump. And, which meant he probably voting for Kamala Harris.
No. well, I think what Joe is saying is he's feeling my point.
Right.
That's the explanation.
Right.
I'm not voting for Biden, but I ain't going for Trump.
Right. And we got my black Republican Treasurer X. I'm sure she's voting for Trump, and that's good, Treasurer. You got, as long as you voting, sweetie. You know what I mean? You have to cast your vote. And your daughter Treasurer Cheris, you know, giving you the props.
Yeah, that's I ain't gonna call her. Hey, Cherish. She's out there in DC getting that film thing taken care of. Yes. No vote, period.
I guess Joe said, yeah, so Biden gets the pass. Okay, yeah. But what happens?
I don't know what that necessarily means. So Biden gets the. I don't know exactly what that means, but if you're not voting for someone, then you're kind of voting against them if you don't cast a vote at all.
Yeah, Joe, let us know what you mean. I'd love to hear your opinion, man. Love to hear your opinion. Judge, probably another 10 minutes, but do you think Muskegon results will be in Tuesday night? We got a school board election going on, you know?
I am seriously doubting that there's going to be final numbers, because I believe that the number of absentee ballots are going to be so voluminous that and you can't start tabulating absentee ballots until the day of in the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And you can't begin to even process them to start tabulating them until the day before. So, I mean, literally, you can't touch those ballots, in a manner of speaking, until Monday. And that's only to get them in position to begin to count them Tuesday.
Will we get updates? Like we would get precinct updates, though.
Yes. Yeah. Ms.
Okay.
Waters her office will make sure that there are updates as much as possible. But the usual updates that we are used to for those of us who watch that sort of thing, they're going to come slower. So what's been the message? The message has been from those who are watching these proceedings is that you're going to have to be patient, and you don't have to buy into those who are alleging that if you don't know the results the night of, or the morning after, or whatever, there's something janky going on. Don't buy that.
Right.
Don't buy it, because there are certain places whose law already is we have up until X number of days after the election to vote or to tabulate votes. They already are in that position. In the state of Michigan, it takes as long as it takes to count the votes. The question is which votes are going to be qualified to be counted. Will it be those that come in later after but are postmarked, which I believe is what the circumstance is? How late will they be allowed to come in? That's where they're trying to suppress this vote and say, if they're not here, if you don't have them by election day, you shouldn't be able to count them, and all that kind of stuff. That's where the litigation is going to really take off.
So we got a sheriff race. We have a prosecuting attorney race. We have a school board race. Any comments on the school board race? Because you stay right around the corner from there.
I didn't know a whole lot of. I mean, I knew the incumbents. I was not aware of who the challengers were, and I did not see very much information on them. I think we talked about this before. That's disappointing, man. That people have not been put in a position, although the pandemic has made it more difficult for people to get out and get around and be seen and heard. So I didn't have a whole lot of information on who the new people were.
Me either. And we've seen the comments. I got a mailer from. I think.
Yeah. Well, that's the good stuff. That that's this would be
text messages, Joe. I'm getting tired of these text messages coming. I don't know how they get my number, man. I don't know how they got my number. Like they're coming from all over.
But hey, we're a battleground state, PA, so everybody wants a little piece of you, man.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, how did they get my number though, Judge? I think Obama campaign must have sold my number, man. He sold that database. It started happening after he got elected, and I know I contributed to the campaign, so I might have hit yes and didn't know. But man, they call you they text you 4 or 5 times a day.
Well, you know what? When I had to run when I had a contested election way back in 1998, thank God. Our campaign did buy voter information. Had to. I had to know how to contact people. It certainly wasn't to any extent, with the level of text and other means by which to contact people. Back in 1998, I think that's when I bought my first cell phone in 1998. And I only bought it because I had this election to run and I needed to be able to communicate, as I was moving around.
Right. Yeah, you were late to the game.
Yeah, I was.
At least you texted me. I was proud when I saw you start texting and stuff.
I didn't feel it was necessary for people to be able to contact me anytime they wanted to.
Right. Here in Muskegon County, if there's a problem at the polls, what do you suggest the voter to do?
If there's a problem when you show up in person to vote on Tuesday, November 3rd?
Yes, sir.
If there is any problem, don't stand there and try to fight it out and argue about it or try to, fix it. Just say, please give me a provisional ballot. What that means is they then have to give you an actual ballot and you are able to complete the voting process completely. And then as the issue is dealt with afterwards, your provisional ballot is there and available for it to be tabulated. These people are under tremendous stress and pressure, and mistakes are going to get made. We know that. And there's going to be inaccurate information. We know that because these are all human endeavors.
Right.
But instead of spending hours and getting upset and getting people more upset, you have the right to cast a provisional ballot upon your request if there is a reason that you are being deemed ineligible to cast your vote on that day.
Provisional ballot.
A provisional ballot. And I don't think that the poll workers are under an obligation to offer that to you.
You got to ask for it.
I think the law requires that you ask for it. Here's why. Because if the poll workers are responsible for it, then they are open to being held liable, even in a legal action, for the fact that maybe you didn't cast your vote. If they didn't say, you can have a provisional ballot. You leave and they don't do that and they have a responsibility to do it, you can come back maybe even and sue them for the denial of being able to cast your vote.
Right. Judge, anything else you want to share before we go?
Vote. If you're undecided, figure out who you don't want to vote for and then vote for the other person.
Tear that thing down.
Because only one of two of them is going to be elected at the presidential level. And your non-vote doesn't help anything. Vote. Get real. Vote. That's the way this system works. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's a worthy debate. But it ain't a debate for November 3rd, 2020. Vote.
All right. Thanks, Judge. Hopefully we can be on next week. And maybe we would kind of know who might be winning this thing by next week.
Oh, man. It would be lovely if that would be the case. I'm not counting on knowing by next Thursday even, all that's going on. Who knows, though? Hey, man, who knows? From your mouth to God's ear. I'm available and I'm ready to do whatever you want to do. I know you guys going to have the whole day covered on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll be here. Yeah. We're not going to be until it's decided, but we'll be there. But that thing ain't going to be decided for a while. Thanks, Joe Rohn, for putting these numbers up. That's Michigan.
That's the state of Michigan. 10,704 people who sat around and said, I don't like neither one of them.
Yeah. Well, he got 10,704 votes more than Hillary, So he that's what it was. He got more. Donald Trump, skated in. That's because our brothers and sisters in Detroit, though.
They sat it out.
Yeah.
They said.
So what happens, Judge? I know we got to go. What happens if he let Kwame Kilpatrick out tomorrow over the weekend? Over the weekend. Hey, I'm just letting you know. I don't put it past him.
Hey, look, Kanye didn't help him. Cube ain't helping him. 50 Cent ain't helping him.
Cube, I don't think Cube was on his team. I think Cube just met with him. I don't think Cube on his team.
Cube got played. Cube got played, PA. Cube got played.
Oh man. I think Cube got it's a good read though. It's a good book. It's a good document. Yeah.
I respect where he's coming from, but you gotta know times, situation, and circumstance. And I think he was sleeping on the time, the situation, and circumstance. And I think it wound up creating a little confusion in Donald Trump's favor, which is all he really wanted. I believe Q's motives are legitimate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Big Rob. Detroit voted. Okay. All right.
Ron said Q got caught up. Yeah, I think I'm in that boat. He got caught. So if Kwame gets out Saturday,
yeah, if you let him out over the weekend, that's a game changer, man. Hey,
man, he couldn't change the game enough for me. But anyway. All right, Judge, man. Think about that now. If it happened, remember who told you now. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
you were first. You was on top of it.
Right. If I'm sitting at the table, then man, what can we do? Hey, let Kwame out.
Let Kwame out.
You know what I mean? Let Ashanti Shakur come back to America free. Let alone. You know what I mean?
You can do it.
All right, Judge. Love you, man.
It's not beyond him to pull a move like that.
Right. All right, Judge. Thank you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too, man. Take good care of yourself and everybody who's watched the show and been with us these 3 weeks or so. Man, really appreciate it. Thank all of y'all. Really.
All right. Take care.
Right.
This is Judge Gregory C. Pittman, chairman of the Muskegon County Election Committee, with some important information. Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. If you have received an absentee ballot, I would urge you to return that ballot directly to the clerk's office in the city or township you live in as soon as possible. If you attempt to mail it at this late date, it may not be received in time to be counted. So return your absentee ballot in person as soon as possible. If you have requested an absentee ballot but have not received it yet, go today to your local clerk's office, request an absentee ballot, complete it on site, and turn it back to the clerk's office that day. You can take this action now through Monday, November 2nd, during the hours that the clerk's office is open. If all else fails, go to the polls Tuesday, November 3rd, and cast your vote. If you are in line before the polls close at 8 p.m., you must be allowed to cast your vote. Do not leave until you do so. If any concerns arise at the polls on Tuesday the 3rd, any question or issue with your voting status, request a provisional ballot and complete it on site. Do not leave until you have cast your vote. Remember, people, it is your right to cast your vote.